This is Ted Flett of Golden Skate, and I'm quite excited today to be joined by the, once again, Skate Canada International champions, Meagan Duhamel and Eric Radford from Canada. Welcome, both of you.
Hey, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. So, huge win last night. That means more than just a medal and at a point total for both of you. Can you explain how important last night's skate was to you?
Last night's skate was much needed on so many levels for us. We didn't start the season off on a good note with our long program at the Autumn Classic competition, and we went home and we worked really, really hard since that competition. We didn't have long before we came into Skate Canada. We were in Italy doing shows, and we took that time to restructure our long program, to set it in a way that we felt paced and that it would work. And this was the test. This was where it was all going to come together or it was going to crumble the way it did at Autumn Classic. And we were so well trained. When we came to this competition, we were really prepared, and we understood that the field was deep. It was going to be a battle at this competition. We were fully aware that if we did not skate well, we would find ourselves off the podium and perhaps out of the Grand Prix final contention. So we felt a lot of pressure coming in here, and then the French had a great skate, which put a lot of pressure on us before we went on the ice. But those are moments that Eric and I thrive in, and they give us this secret confidence because we tend to perform well under pressure.
Mm-hmm. Eric, you said last night that coming into this competition, sort of picking up on what Meagan said about knowing the depth of the field, you said we had low expectations. What is it like to recalibrate your expectations when you are two-time world champions and you've been on the top of the world and you're coming into a Grand Prix event thinking we could possibly not podium and that might still be okay?
Sometimes I feel like it's really easy, and then other times I felt like it was very challenging because there's like this invisible expectation either from other people or from yourself that can be in your head, and sometimes it can affect you, and sometimes I'm just like, oh no, it's not there, and it's kind of funny psychology lesson, I guess, to think about it. But as Meagan said, we were training so well, and I think that we did such a good job of really staying in our own bubble. And when I say like low expectations, it's not like we were aiming low. We just had like less expectations of a placement because we knew how strong the field was. Like, it was the type of field where we could skate clean and still come third. Like, we knew that. We could have great skate and come third, and we would have been really, really happy. But I think we managed them really well here.
And I think something that was instrumental to our success in the long program was we didn't perform a great short program. I completely missed the jump. We were down 6 or 7 points of what we would expect to be in the short program, and we didn't let it steer us off path. We were like, okay, that's fine. Our job here and our motivation coming here was to do a great long program, and that's something that we'll take forward with us to the future, is that we can tackle any situation as it comes. And we stayed positive after that short program. We didn't get down on ourselves. We didn't focus on the negatives. We stayed focused on all the great things about the performance, which kept our energy in a good place going to the long program.
And on Friday night, Meagan, you described that error as a stupid mistake, and you said, tomorrow night I'm going to land a beautiful triple lutz, and you did. You delivered on that commitment. How did you avoid not getting too wrapped up in, that's my signature triple lutz, and I missed it?
Because honest to God, I was like, that was stupid. The Lutz has been working so well in practice. We've competed the short program twice this year and landed a Lutz cleanly both times. And I felt like that was like a brief little brain fart, almost like this mind slip. And I was fully aware that it was this brief second and it was gone. And I knew from training that my Lutz was great and it was going to be good. And we came here, like I said, to deliver a great long program. So I kept the focus on that.
Right. Your coach, Bruno Marcotte, said that at the high performance camp that it was a natural decision to return to Muse from 2014-2015 because it just fit so well, and that's where it all began, meaning the momentum that you build after the Sochi Olympics. How unsettling was it for you when that program wasn't quite clicking, both in practice, as you shared, and at Autumn Classic? I know at the tail end of Autumn Classic in Montreal, you said, maybe we'll scrap this program. Maybe we need something new. I mean, you looked really dejected about the whole thing, and we're looking at all possibilities. So how unsettling was that? How difficult was that to return to that program, and it didn't quite pick up where you left it off, so to speak?
I think that we went about it in a way that we are a better team than we were in 2014, 2015, but we might have changed it too much this summer. We might have kind of taken away the magic that was the original Muse. And we took away some of our favorite sections of the program and thought we would make them better and add new things, when if it's not broken, you don't fix it, right? And that's what we kind of came back to after Autumn Classic. And I mean, I was completely devastated after Autumn Classic, and I mean, it was really emotional for me to admit that maybe this program isn't working. But it wasn't the program of Muse that wasn't working, it was the structure of Muse that wasn't working, because literally as soon as we put the order of elements back to the original way, we started running clean programs in practice almost every time. And this summer we were running terrible run-throughs in practice, and in isolation each thing was better than ever, but as a program it was all unraveling. So just resetting that structure, repacing the program gave us a comfort and a confidence back in the Muse.
I think that's what happens in a season with a program, and especially this was like a very sort of extreme case, but like the type of skate that we had at Autumn Classic and the type of skate that we had here, a little bit better. Just
More than a little bit.
just
23 points better, actually.
it's like we had this target after choreographing the short. You know, we went with like this very specific type of feeling, and we were really trying to like expand ourselves and our skating. And we were like, oh, it worked so well in the short, and it felt so comfortable in the short. We're like, okay, let's do the same in the long. But I think that's where we went wrong. We were trying to make it grow, when really I think that in a long program we're just better suited to keeping things a little bit smaller, tidier, simpler. And then if we hit like a clean skate, that's where our second mark and that energy comes through. For us,
And the emotional
it's not going to
performance.
be, you know, we're not like the Germans or like even the French. Like, we all have our own style, and I think that we just sort of decided to settle back into what is us with this long program, and it worked.
Sure. So if I'm understanding correctly, are there some programs that you really kind of need to skate cleanly in order to build the component scores, and this is one of them? Or you're that type of team? Which is it?
This program builds a particular energy as well with the music and with the audience. And it's structured in a way that it's very effective. It's very musical. We are able to interpret the highs and the lows of the music quite well and quite comfortably. And it was just disjointed the way we had put it this summer. And it's like we were fighting against what was natural.
Yeah.
And every time we did a run through, we were like fighting against like the urge to want to be comfortable, but push ourselves out of being comfortable. And at the end of the day, the program has to be laid out to skate a clean long. That's really what it came down to. And we figured that we're going to let our short program shine this year, and we will skate a clean long. That was the plan that we came up with our coaching team.
You said last night that you had felt that some people had given up on you, and sometimes you'd even wondered if you'd given up on yourselves. And you had this, I think you call it like a thread of hope, like this really small sort of crack in the door that you thought you might be able to move through. When you watched what happened in Helsinki, did you ever have a sense that, you know, that podium there, that is the new world order and you're not part of the conversation anymore?
Absolutely. And it almost became a point where we accepted that. I think that, I mean, we're big skating fans. We were so proud of the Chinese team to finally get that world title last year in Helsinki. That was a great moment for them. But I think that we started accepting that we were a 5th or 6th place team. And that's when our confidence started to dwindle a little bit, and our fight that made us who we are was gone. And I didn't really realize it until a few weeks ago when I started working with this new sports psychologist, that I had started accepting failure. I started accepting being average. And you know, what got us to where we are, what allowed us to become world champions, was our determination, our willpower, and our ability to perform under pressure. And without that, we're nothing. And I had to just, like, we had to find a way to dig deep and come back to that this season.
I mean, after this competition, I feel like a completely different, like I see myself and I feel like I'm in a totally different headspace now. And I think that we were just waiting for that moment to prove it to ourselves, that we needed that one time to prove it to ourselves after last season, where it just kind of, we kept on faltering for whatever reason. And it's very, for me right now, like thinking back to like Worlds and until now, and just how everything sort of just changed overnight, it's really, it's kind of incredible, and it's really exciting moving forward. But I was saying in the interview yesterday that we're going to take it all in stride, because, you know, as quickly as you can have a great skate, everything can fall apart very easily. So I think we just want to keep our head down, and baby steps forward.
And I think it's worth noting, I mean, everybody remembers the World Championships and the struggles that we had there, but last season as a whole was just an entire mess of a struggle with us trying to find a comfort in our programs. Do we do the throw triple axel? Do we not do the throw triple axel? Why can't we skate a good long program? We were barely getting 130 to 135 last year in a long program. So it was the whole season as a whole had us questioning if we could ever deliver these magical moments that are so memorable for us. And we did. We started to wonder if it was ever possible to do that again, and now we feel like restored with faith that it is possible.
Right. The two of you are so honest and so open about the challenges that you've had, and I specifically remember in the 2015-2016 season, after Canadians, you talked about this really honest conversation that you had about why are we still in this? What are we doing here? And I think, Eric, you opened the conversation with Meagan, and it like opened a floodgates of new communication between the two of you. Have you continued that level of communication between yourselves, and has that helped you, come through the struggles of last season and into this season?
Definitely. I mean, we did a lot of talking after Worlds and figuring out how we were going to move forward, how we were feeling at the rink, what kind of changes and plan that we needed to have in order to finish our last season stronger than that second last season was. And I think that, you get into a daily sort of routine, and we really streamlined a lot of things. And I think that when we go into the rink, we know exactly what we need to do, and because it's so streamlined, it's just so easy, and that's when the ball starts to roll and everything starts to come together all on its own, almost. It's funny because sometimes I think, what is Bruno telling me to do? And if I think back to our lessons, he doesn't really tell us that much. It really is just this energy that we've built somehow through the changes we've made in the last month that's really getting the ball rolling, and we're riding that momentum. And it's for me, the aspect of this sport I find really, really interesting, how that can happen all on its own.
You talked earlier about, as great as last night was, it could, it could potentially unravel, and, doing it once doesn't mean you can do it twice. How do you pace yourself heading into your next Grand Prix event, and knowing that the Olympics is not that long away, and yet it is a long road still, and you want to maintain, your status, your training, your stamina, your health, keeping injury free, and so forth?
I think that the key that we have to continue to do throughout the season is just keep putting one foot in front of the other. After Autumn Classic, we sat down with our entire team. Okay, what do we need to do so that this never happens again? What do we need to do that we can be better at Skate Canada? And all of our focus in the last month, we haven't thought past Skate Canada. It was just Skate Canada was the end of the road. And now all the focus is just going to Skate America. We had a great skate last night, but it was messy. We left a lot of stuff on the table that can be better. The program can be more fluid. We left some levels out. The quality of all of our elements could greatly improve. They are better outside of the program and training. So there's so much that we can keep doing to improve ourselves. And I think that will be the most important thing as we go into Skate America, is to keep our head down, keep working step by step every day, and figuring out what we can do to become a better team for Skate America than we were here.
Do you have something you want to add on pacing?
And then repeat.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And do a clean short program at Skate America.
Yeah.
That's going to be the ultimate goal, is to do a clean short program and hit 80 points at Skate America with that.
Okay. And you haven't broken 80, have you?
No.
So this is the goal.
We definitely feel like it's possible because with getting 73 here, we missed out on one level, and I mean, we can get 7 points for that triple Lutz, where the double we did got 1 point. So it's definitely possible for us to be pushing that 80 points, and that's what we want to do.
Okay, so Lake Placid is on notice. These guys are going for 80 in the short
Yes.
program. You talked about the conversation after Autumn Classic, and you also shared in the press conference last night that right after Autumn Classic, I think you were in Italy, you phoned a friend or sports psychologist, some contact of yours, and said, we need to talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think that training had been going really well throughout the summer and leading into Autumn Classic, except for every long program run through. Everything else was going better than ever, and so we had every reason to feel encouraged and positive. But when everything unraveled at Autumn Classic, and I had a meltdown that night and lost and wondering like what was going on, why I was so out of control in that performance. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was completely out of control. And I had a moment when I was going to bed that night that I was like, this is not how I will have my career end. I refuse to have this be my ending point. And that kind of just like spurred everything in terms of feeling more determined and making the changes. And I knew that I was feeling lost since the season of Boston's Worlds in terms of goal setting. We both were feeling like, what's the reason we're continuing to skate?
Next?
What are we striving for? What else is there to do? And it did leave us feeling really lost. And I didn't want to feel lost with my planning anymore. I didn't want to feel lost with my goal setting anymore. And I felt like I just needed somebody to almost like grab me and shake me up a little bit. And to remind me what I already knew. And everything that I've been working with Rebecca now with my mental training, it's not new. It's things I already knew, but it's things that got lost along the way. It's things that I forgot about and got lost. And she reminded me of what I can do, what I do well, what Eric and I do well, and how to tackle the long program mentally. So I didn't feel out of control, so that I felt like I was in control of every second in that program. And I really think that was so instrumental to our training coming into Skate Canada and our success with the long program.
Okay. Shifting gears from the long program to the short program, Eric, you called this new short program a return to comfort, which you don't often hear from a brand new program. What did you mean by that, and how is it a return to comfort?
I think that a return to comfort is kind of a theme in the skating world. There's a lot of people going back to like those comfortable programs.
Well, old programs.
Old programs,
yeah.
But,
You didn't do that.
Mostly they're like signature programs that really they had a strong season with, and I think that it's just this type of music is what resonates with us naturally. And so we didn't want to try and go outside of our box at all. We just wanted to
like Seal last year. We wanted to avoid that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, we were like, what have we got to lose like last season? So we really went for that, and we learned a lot and kind of learned our lesson. And so this was like, as soon as we listened to the music the very first time, you could feel it like in our souls.
Right.
And when you have that to draw upon, when you're in your starting position and when you're giving a performance, like that's what it's all about. And that's exactly what we need this season. So, from those first piano notes, it's like, and it's where it needs to be right away. As compared to say like last season,
it was like a panic in us every time we started.
The energy of the music and the way it felt, it was like we were trying to make ourselves into something. We were always reaching for something, whereas this is just, we let it come to us. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's how I would describe that comfort, or that return to comfort.
Right, okay, which is funny because I recall Julie Marcotte sharing that she chose last year's music and wanted to use it sooner rather than later because she felt like another team will use this for the Olympics. And she thought, this is Olympic music, but you got to skate to it now so we don't lose it for the Olympics. And yet it didn't quite crystallize for you, or it wasn't the backdrop to the sort of success you wanted.
That was the long program that we had started last year, which it was a really beautiful piece of music. It just, sometimes things just don't click. And it's really interesting when you have programs that kind of happens with. But I don't even know if it was really our long program last year or just our whole headspace and approach to training, because we did perform that long program really well at our very first little local competition in September in Quebec City, and we were never able to have it reach that level again. So there was potential with that program, but it never materialized. It never resonated with us the way we thought it could resonate with us.
And I mean, since the Seal Short program, I think you've since called that a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think you said it. So at what point did you feel like, wow, this program is not working, or this is a real challenge for us? Because it could have been at Skate Canada, because that was a phenomenal outing of that particular program.
It was our one and only, I think, phenomenal outing of that program. And after Four Continents, when we were in Korea at Four Continents, out of a frustration, I said, I think we need to change our short program. I don't think that we should go to Worlds with this short program. But the timing, when you're 1 month out of Worlds, and the scheduling that was all happening when we were coming back from Korea, we didn't feel like we had the time to make a new short program. And we had thought of our show program at the time, which was to Piano Man, and we were like, maybe we should just turn Piano Man into a short program. But we were using a prop in that show program, and we were like, I don't know if without the magic of the show the show part of it. Is there anything to make of it for a short program? So the idea kind of came up, and then our coaching team reassured us that we could make this short program work.
Right.
And it was just never comfortable. Even when we did it well in training, we skated it really well at nationals, but it lacked magic, it lacked spark. It was a little bit more geared towards my energy of skating and completely away from Eric's energy of skating, so it disjointed our chemistry as well and our connection with each other, and it lacked fluidity that we want to have with our skating, just everything about it. And lesson learned. I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah. And in this important Olympic season, what are you both doing sort of off ice, away from skating, away from off ice training altogether, to sort of to be able to enjoy the time that you're at the rink and like kind of keep it cool, keep it together?
Oh, I feel like my world's gotten very small and streamlined. You know, our training is that way, and it's just kind of like wake up, breakfast, go skate, and then there's usually like off ice, and then some sort of like therapy. And I'm always at my piano when I'm at home. It gives me a lot of serenity and balance, and lets me forget about everything that's going on and everything that's about to come up in our lives. And like just spending time with friends and with my fiance.
Yes, congratulations!
Yeah.
You got engaged recently.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
We took a vacation. His name's Luis Finero. He's an ice dancer from Spain. He trains in Montreal as well. We are on vacation in Spain, and we went gliding in the Pyrenees in one of those white gliders, and it was like completely magical experience. And then when we landed, I popped the question, and he said yes, and we cried, and we were super happy.
That's sweet.
It was it's really amazing. But having that.
Are you in wedding planning mode?
Yes,
or?
wedding planning. We've kind of decided we'll probably get married in Spain, which is a kind of difficult decision when you got families on either side of the ocean.
Yep.
But it's been really nice. He's such a great support, and when you're going through such an intense season like this, I'm just so thankful to have somebody like him in my life.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And was Meagan one of the people that you did Meagan know before you popped the question? Is that something you shared? Did you keep sort of limited in terms of I'm going to do this? I'm going to propose.
I didn't really tell that many people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So were you surprised when you found out when he came back?
Yes and no. I mean, I know that they were together and have a serious relationship, so it's not like oh my God, I can't believe this happened. But
right.
Still, really exciting at the same time.
Yeah. And for you, off ice?
Well, I do a lot of yoga and meditation work. I started getting really into meditation throughout the difficulties of last season, and it brought me a lot of serenity in my life. And my dogs, I have my two dogs, one that I rescued from Korea last year, and working with some organizations and hopefully helping a few more dogs when I'm in Korea at the Olympics. But it's really I feel like right now it's the end of some incredible journey. So just being able to be grateful every single day and appreciate every single day, whether it comes with the good and the bad of each training day and each difficult day or difficult week, being able to be grateful that I'm here living this and trying to stay in that moment as we go through this season.
Excellent. Well, it's been so great to talk to you both. Congratulations again on your Skate Canada victory, and we look forward to seeing you at Skate America and throughout the rest of the season. And we're hoping very much that you are able to harness the energy that was created here to achieve more success this season. So thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.